So let's talk about young people today. They're navigating this world that's just, well, it's increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence. And the big question really, is this a huge leap forward for them, full of potential?
Hmm.
Or, does it bring some pretty serious challenges we need to get our heads around?
It's a critical question.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. AI is already kind of woven into their lives, right? Maybe it's the tools they use at school or the entertainment they're watching, even the skills people say they'll need for work later on.
That's spot on. The speed AI is integrating into the lives of Gen Z and Gen Alpha.
Hmm.
It's really quite something. It's not some far-off sci-fi concept anymore.
Not at all.
As well, it's part of their daily reality now.
Absolutely. And so in this deep dive, we've looked at some recent reports, discussions, and our aim here is to really sort of unpack how this is all playing out, especially in key areas.
Like education.
Exactly, education. And creativity, too. And of course, the big one, the future of work. Our mission isn't just to list facts, but to explore both sides, the amazing opportunities AI offers this generation,
And the risks.
and the very real risks and considerations that come with adopting it so fast. We really want to give you a clearer picture, maybe some useful ways to think about this changing landscape.
And what's really fascinating, digging into the material, is just how everywhere AI is becoming. Take education, for instance.
Okay.
We're seeing students using these really sophisticated AI language models, stuff that can generate text that sounds incredibly human.
Right, like uncannily human sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, say, getting past writer's block anymore. It raises some pretty fundamental questions about how students develop critical writing skills.
Uh-huh.
And even, what's the point of certain essay assignments if an AI can basically do them?
Okay, let's pause on that for a second. Because one piece we looked at quoted Jensen Huang, NVIDIA's CEO. He said, AI is the best tutor for every child. That's
Right.
that's a huge claim.
It is. It really highlights that revolutionary potential you mentioned.
But like with any massive shift, there's always another side, isn't there? We can't just get excited about the new stuff without thinking about the complexities.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the broader view, which some of the research we reviewed does, this quick uptake,
Mm-hmm.
it does bring real considerations.
Such as.
Well, for example, just how easy it is for what we call generative AI, AI that makes new content like text, how easy it is for it to churn out written material. It makes you ask some valid questions about academic integrity in schools.
Right. If students can just use AI to finish their homework,
Are they actually learning? Is the understanding really sinking in? It's a fair question.
and it goes beyond just homework, doesn't it? There's this whole bigger conversation happening around future jobs.
Hmm.
Lots of people worry that the very skills young people are learning now might just be automated away by AI before they even really get started in their careers.
And that brings up another important angle, potential differences in how people react to this. Some data we saw suggests, varying levels of trust across different groups.
Oh, interesting. How so?
For instance, one recent report indicated that young women, generally speaking, tend to trust these generative AI tools less than young men do.
Really? Why might that be?
Well, the report didn't definitively say why, but it could potentially widen existing gaps if we aren't careful about how these tools are developed and rolled out. It makes you wonder, is AI just reflecting existing biases or patterns in society?
It really does make you think. And, one expert we looked at, Anima Anand-Kumar from Caltech, she made a great point. She said something like, AI can help generate ideas, but curiosity and human exploration, that's still on us.
I like that.
Yeah, it really puts the focus back on the human element, doesn't it? It's not just about what the AI can do, but how we decide to use it and what qualities, human qualities we bring to that interaction.
Which leads us perfectly into the whole education piece again. Classrooms are really on the front lines of this AI shift.
Absolutely.
You've got teachers who are, quite rightly, focused on keeping up educational standards, making sure learning is genuine.
Of course.
But then at the same time, you have other educators looking at these AI tools and seeing, wow, incredible ways to maybe personalize learning or give students resources they wouldn't normally have access to.
Right. And it's key to remember, isn't it, that AI Well, at least as it is now, it isn't a replacement for real learning,
Definitely not.
but it can be a really powerful add-on. You could imagine a student in a remote area getting personalized tutoring help via AI, or a student using AI to brainstorm ideas for a creative writing piece, or even younger kids getting introduced to tricky concepts like animation, maybe, through AI software that's easy to use. The potential to make education more accessible it's pretty significant.
But the key thing here, and several sources really stress this, is guidance. Just giving students these tools isn't the answer.
No.
They need to be taught how to use them well, how to use them critically, responsibly.
So understanding when it's okay to use AI and when maybe you should question what it spits out.
Exactly. And understanding a bit about how these things actually work, the focus kind of shifts, doesn't it? Less about just memorizing facts and more about developing critical thinking within this new AI environment.
Okay, so let's pivot a bit. Let's talk about that big question mark for this generation, the future of work. We hear these, frankly, quite scary predictions sometimes about AI taking all the jobs. What's a more balanced view based on what we've seen?
Well, if you look at history, which some of the economic analyses we reviewed did, technological leaps tend to follow a more complex pattern.
Okay.
Think about the Industrial Revolution. Sure, some jobs disappeared, but whole new industries were created too. AI is expected to be similar, disruptive, yes, but also generative.
Generative meaning creating new things.
Creating new types of jobs, exactly. World Economic Forum, for example, they project that while, yeah, a significant number of current jobs might be displaced in the next few years, an even larger number of new roles are likely to pop up.
So it's not necessarily about fewer jobs overall, but more about a major shift in the kinds of jobs available.
Precisely. And that has huge implications for young people today, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
For anyone who's, say, in their early teens or just starting out now, it's almost a guarantee that the job market they enter will look very different from today's.
Wow.
Some of the jobs that will be really in demand soon probably don't even properly exist yet. We might see more people working as prompt engineers, people skilled at talking to AI systems to get the best results.
Right, telling the AI what to do effectively.
Or AI integration specialists, helping companies actually use these tools. The main takeaway here is really about adaptability and being willing to keep learning, keep picking up new skills.
Because if this generation isn't learning how to work with AI,
They could get left behind by those who are. It's a real possibility.
so this leads to a really crucial question then. What are the essential skills, the core abilities we should be helping the next generation develop as they navigate this? It sounds like it's more than just knowing the tech.
Oh, absolutely. If
Well,
you think of AI as this incredibly powerful tool,
yeah.
then the focus has got to be on developing skilled users of that tool.
Mm.
That means prioritizing things like curiosity, not just taking information at face value, fostering creativity, rather than just consuming what's out there, and building a strong sense of responsibility for how these powerful tools get used.
So it's less about everyone needing to learn how to code the AI itself?
And more about learning how to think critically about it, how to ask the right questions, and how to apply it thoughtfully. That seems to be the consensus.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. Based on our deep dive into all this material, that initial question, is AI's rise for the next generation a revolution or a risk?
Well, looking at the different angles we've discussed, it really seems like it's both at the same time.
Happening concurrently.
Exactly. The potential for revolutionizing learning, sparking new kinds of creativity, creating future opportunities, that's undeniable. But the risks, the considerations around job shifts, ethical use, they're just as real and just as important.
But it sounds like the main message, maybe for you listening, isn't necessarily to be scared of AI.
No, not at all.
It's more about informed engagement, being active.
Precisely. AI isn't going to completely replace humans. But we've sort of touched on, people who learn how to use AI effectively, who understand it, they'll likely have a real advantage going forward.
A significant edge, perhaps.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
So the advice really is, lean into it, be curious. Actively learn about these technologies. Ask the tough questions about their impact. Explore what you can create with them.
Because the future isn't already written by the code.
Not at all. It's going to be shaped by the choices and the actions that, well, that you and your generation make.
And maybe one final thought to leave you with. As AI gets more and more integrated into everything, how might our whole idea of what it means to be skilled or knowledgeable change? And what does that mean for where human talent, human ingenuity will be most needed and valued? Something to mull over.